Full disclosure, I actually prepared something else for my reflection today, but there's just this urge inside of me, and I believe it's from the Spirit, to speak of something else. It's it's about the rebuilding of the wall in Nehemiah's time and the restoration, the inauguration of the wall when they finished it. In the reading today, Nehemiah said that prior to these things, what happened was that the temple was abused. There was this uh, priest who gave a favor to his, I think, his kinsman or in-law, and he allowed him to defile the one of the rooms in the temple. The room was dedicated for offerings. And what happened was that the people stopped giving offerings, and this room for the treasures of the community, was used for not for official purposes, but for uh, personal intentions. What Nehemiah did was he threw out the occupant and his things, and he restored the purpose of that room, which was for the tithes, first fruits, and other offerings. And then he learned that because the offerings were not being given by the people, their tithe, they were not being faithful to those things which Moses prescribed, he found out that the Levites and those who worked in the temple were forced to abandon their calling and work in the field, just like the rest of the Israelites in Judah. So the temple workers, the temple people, the priests and the Levites, instead of performing their ministry in the temple of the service of worship, they worked outside. And Nehemiah, it displeased him, and he took action about it. And before the dedication of the wall, he restored the giving of the offerings. I say this not complaining. I say this just in truth. Just like Israel, the people of God, in its history, they were like, their journey was a roller coaster ride of faithfulness and unfaithfulness, and faith and doubt, hot, cold, etc., etc. Just like us in the church, we mature, we grow, but we still sometimes fall into certain things that should not be part of our growth and increase. But it seems to me that we have, in this generation, in our church, not been giving the way we used to before. And I mean that two ways. One, obviously, we have not been giving as much as we used to. And we need to, again, I say this in honesty, not in complaint, we need to educate the current generation. Because this is the second generation. It's upon us. They're upon us now. First generation was, I would say, faithful in giving much before. We used to give faithfully our tithe, and a big majority of the church did that. We even did first fruits one time. You would remember that. And we gave and gave and gave. And we prioritized the needs of the church. And we need to teach this generation and the coming generations about the generosity of God. It's something that doesn't go out of date. Generosity, being faithful in giving. Second way that that we were givers before was that we were givers with wrong motives. And I say that for myself. I don't know about the others. Maybe they were more they were better givers than me, but we were our appetites were whet with the promise of 100-fold return when we give our tithe. Not only that, we were also probably intimidated so that if we didn't give, then we would suffer consequences, sickness and broken relationships and trouble, etc., etc. So maybe we gave, but maybe we didn't give with the right attitude. In the story of Nehemiah, after Nehemiah restored the giving of offerings, the previous chapter said, when they inaugurated the wall, that all of Judah gave because, I would like to underscore this, because they rejoiced in the work of the priests and the Levites who served. In other words, in New Testament lingo, they gave cheerfully. Not forced, not intimidated, not with the wrong motive of what's in it for me in return, but they gave cheerfully because they want their brothers to serve on a full-time basis. They want them to fulfill their ministry. They didn't want them to moonlight. They wanted them to fulfill the calling that they were called, which is to perform the service of worship at the temple. Why? Because they're brothers. Not because they're special, because they're brothers. And they gave cheerfully. They rejoiced. Today, some of the attitudes is, why would I give for this or that? Oh, I remember the time when we would give to everyone. Everyone. We would even write on our envelopes for this person who played the bass guitar or the drummer or this singer or that. And we just gave cheerfully. What happened? The glory of the Lord was revealed. And I really believe that the glory of the latter house will be greater than the former. And that glory is way beyond physical structures. Remember this one, I mentioned this Sunday, this one collect of the day that we would pray. It says, the glory of God, the glory of God is always to have mercy, to be gracious. That's the glory of God. Not signs and wonders, not, signs in heaven and on earth. And I'm not saying those are not good. We see supernatural healings and miracles in our lives. But the glory of God is best displayed in His grace and in His mercy. We demonstrate that. We demonstrate the glory of God as well. And then people will believe. And then that will be our most powerful evangelistic tool to make God known and to fulfill our vision and mission statement. So let us be givers, but let us give cheerfully, not selfishly as to seek for the return, or intimidated and threatened to give because otherwise we would suffer consequences. No, let us give voluntarily, just like our God is gracious to us. Freely we have received, let us freely give. Because that's the way it is in the kingdom of our God.